Interview for September 16th, 1984. We're poolside this time, Kansas City, Missouri, talking with Alan White.
Hi.
Alan. How are you?
Fine.
Now, I'd like to pick up with the recent formation of Yes. It originally started with you and Chris as Cinema, isn't that?
That's right. Chris and myself, and then we got in touch through the record company. They put us in touch with Trevor Rabin. We were just looking around with a view to forming a new band, basically. And then we met with Trevor in London in a Japanese restaurant and had a meal, and everybody liked each other as people. So we went and played for a couple of days, and it felt really good. Trevor went back to Los Angeles, and then he set it up so we come back and start rehearsing with a view to forming a new band, which eventually was going to be called Cinema.
Now, what material were you and Chris playing? Were you writing stuff on your own? Or?
Yeah, we'd been playing with different people here and there for a while. We did some work with Jimmy Page, but basically Chris and myself have been writing all the material we'd been doing. So it's just stuff that we've been working on over the previous kind of 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, because after Yes broke up, you guys released Roman the Fox.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good adventure for us. We were working with different people down there. Chris has a studio in his basement in his house, and we were just working around, messing around with some of the material, and came up with this single. More of a Christmas type single. So we released it.
Was Trevor the next member then, or was Tony already jamming with you?
No, Trevor was the next member. In fact, it was the 3 of us for a while, and then Chris said, well, it'd be nice to have keyboards, so Chris said, why don't I give Tony a call? He's in LA, not doing anything right now. And he gave him a call. And he came over and everything sounded great. So we just carried on rehearsing in that kind of format for about 5 or 6 months, with a view to calling it Cinema eventually. And we had different record companies coming in to hear the band. We had, lots and lots of record companies that came to see us. But eventually we stayed with the record company that we started with, Atlantic.
What was the first song of Trevor's that you heard?
First song of Trevor had a tape, you see, of a lot of songs that he'd been writing the previous 2 years to that, with a view to getting a solo album deal from different record companies. I think Geffen was the last one he was involved with. And there was a lot of great material there, and we just started sifting through it. We heard them all at the same time, basically, and then just started working through it and changing those songs and making them more yesified and adding things that people had written in other areas, like instrumental sections, and adding to that song, And we came up with the album eventually, after a lot of sorting out. It was a hard thing to do because we had to really form a new direction for what we were doing, because it was going to be a new band. But it was finding the direction that took the time. And then, as you know, when we almost done all the backing tracks in the studio, and when John sang on them, it sounded so much like Yes that really we couldn't call it anything else but Yes.
Yeah, John, in essence, really is the voice of Yes.
Yeah. Really, it's like a very distinctive sounding voice, and people associate that with the band's name, as well as everybody's instrumental kind of style, but that's a big factor.
How did it come about that John came down to sing?
We were in the studio, and we had a meeting at Atlantic Records, and Phil Carson, who works at Atlantic Records, knew that John, I think he'd heard the tape through John of a couple of tracks, and John really liked it. Mentioned at the meeting that John was in town and he heard the tapes and really liked the music. And I think Chris called John and met him in a bar somewhere or something like that. And John said, I really like some of the material you're doing. Why don't I do a couple of demo vocal sessions and see, which he did. Spent 5 days doing some demo vocal sessions, and it sounded great. So then we just took it from there.
And then as soon as John came, the band was obviously...
Well, we were almost finished. We did a lot of overdubs and stuff like that. John just came in and put the vocals on, and we did all the vocals to match his vocals, all the backing and stuff like that. And we were very close to having the album finished then.
And then with John's distinctive voice, decided to call the band
Yeah.
Yes once again.
Yeah, that's what really came out of the whole thing. And it was great. We didn't mind. I think I was quoted in one magazine as saying that it's nice. There's a lot of people who really enjoy the fact that there's still a Yes around today in the world. It's, you know, just for something to hold on to musically.
Were you surprised at the success of 90125?
Well, we put an awful lot of hard work into it. So I'm not going to be blasé and say I wasn't surprised, but yeah, I was kind of half surprised. But I knew there was some good hit songs on there. If it was handled well by the record company, it stood a fair chance. So I'd say, you know, I thought a couple of them were definitely good hit type singles. And then of course the album was bigger than we all thought, I think, in the end. So that was yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise to be as big as it was.
Owner of a Lonely Heart, #1 song.
Yeah.
I guess Roundabout went to #1 also.
No, Roundabout only ever got to number 15, I think.
Really?
Yeah. It's the first #1 Yes has ever had.
Wow, congratulations.
Except for, I think Fragile, actually, the album charts. I think Fragile either went #1, I'm not sure. But all the other albums used to be #2, #3, and #4 and stuff like that, you know. So it was good for us to have a #1.
Now, after the album was made and you were looking to tour, wasn't it really hard in choosing what material you were going to play throughout the history of Yes?
It's very hard because there's so much material that a lot of people like playing. There's some that's very, very complicated, but there's some classic standards that we knew that people would want to listen to. So we balanced it 50-50 really, and took as much old material as we had new material. We played practically the whole album except one song the first time round. And besides that, we started picking on the old favorites like Starship Trooper, and you know, people want to hear Roundabout. If it's not there, people start shouting for it. So we thought this tour we'd do that and just give them everything they wanted, really. So it wasn't really that hard. We just pick the favorites off of different albums. Next tour we might play something like Gates of Delirium and big pieces of music, you know, just
Ritual.
Ritual.
Play Ritual?
Yeah.
No, I mean, you guys could actually play for like 5 hours if you picked all your classic
More,
songs.
probably more. It's
Siberian, Get True,
yeah, all that kind of
July,
stuff.
Perpetual Change, they're all classics.
Well, we did Perpetual Change first time round. Just a small version, a short version of it. No, it was Long Distance we did. We were going to do Perpetual Change. We played it for a few gigs. Then we decided to knock that one on the head. But there's lots of songs I love. I like to play Sound Chaser, Gates of Delirium, all that kind of stuff. It's great to play on stage. It's very different and dynamic. But we came up with a show. The show's hard enough work as it is. It's 2 hours, 20 minutes. It's all go, pretty much.
Could you kind of, if you would, like highlight the 2 tours that you've just done? Is there any things that stand out as real highlights for you personally?
You mean as far as particular gigs?
Yeah, particular gigs, particular instances. Getting a
Not
live
really.
record or something.
Yeah, I know all that kind of stuff. By and by, you just do that as you go along. I don't know. We've done some. Well, the main highlight of both the tours is the fact that the band standard has never really dropped musically. It's when we used to do tours on the last versions of the band, you know, it used to be, I would say, 7 out of 10 gigs, or 6 or 7 out of 10 gigs were great. You know, one was terrible. Maybe 1 out of 10 wouldn't be very good. The rest were average. Right, about 6 were average, and the other 3 were kind of pretty good. What happens with us nowadays is 9 out of 10 gigs is just great. I mean, the band just performs so well. 9 out of 10 gigs, and the one might be just average. There's never been a really bad gig, and that's the thing that really stands out most of all. Through all the tours, all the gigs we've done, and we worked out this morning. I think we've done 123 gigs or something so far. So we're getting close to the end. Got another 9 gigs to go, I think.
Is that just on this leg or both?
No, that's Europe and 2 tours of America. boy, if that was just this leg, I'd be dying.
Was that comparing it to the Hounds, to the Downs horn lineup?
That lineup and the lineups before, actually, for the past few years before that. You know, I always remember that there's always one duff gig out of 10 and like so many average ones and a few good ones. Well, now it's, you know, it's like 9 out of 10 are really good, very enjoyable. You get one where the sound isn't right and people start making mistakes, but it's very rare.
How did you like working with Trevor as a producer, and how did that come about?
Oh, Trevor Horn? Well, obviously his relationship with us from the last kind of version of Yes lingered through, and we knew him as a person. And when we were rehearsing the material, we had different producers come down and see the band that wanted to record the band badly, and Trevor Horn seemed to be the only one who kind of got across the message that he knew what we wanted to do, because we'd worked with him so well before. He knew what the band should sound like on record, so we went with Trevor. So, you know, that's a relationship just carried on between us.
Okay, yeah, he's a big Yes man.
Yeah, totally.
For the future then, what are your plans? Now keep in mind this will be airing in, could you set this up as being airing in December?
In December?
You say that, well, we just finished 2 tours in October and then we took like X amount of time off.
Yeah.
This will be running in December.
Okay. Well, we finished the last tour in October the 1st, and we're having a couple of months off, and next month, which is January, we'll be going to South America for 3 weeks, I believe, and everything looks rosy down there. There's a big festival, and we're all looking forward to it. So we'll see how the South Americans take it. The albums do very well down there, so we'll have to see how we do live.
Have you ever toured South America?
Never before. So we're all looking forward to going down there.
Oh, you're doing that big festival,
Yeah, in Rio.
Yeah,
It's Def Leppard, Police, I believe Police, AC/DC, Men at Work. So there's about 10 bands going down, I think, something like that.
That should be fun.
Yeah, we get the festival's 10 days and we only play 2 nights, so the rest's holiday.
Yeah. Wish their whole tour was like that.
Yeah, right.
8 off. Do you have any plans for the next record then?
Well, we've all got portable studios at the moment, but everybody's been touring so much. I mean, people are writing things in the room, but really we're waiting to, the next album will be started around February, March, rehearsals and putting it all together. So I'd reckon by summertime we'll probably have an album together, and that's going to be a lot quicker than the last time, I think, because last time we were forming a direction, and this time it's formed itself really, and we're just going to pursue that.
Now, Tony was mentioning to me like a thread running through the record, along with live stage presentation and video.
Yeah.
Have you guys discussed?
Well, we've kind of touched upon it, but there's nothing really definite at the moment. It's just like presenting a whole thing together with a video and everything that's all just kind of set up, and well thought out beforehand. So, I mean, it is in people's heads, but I shouldn't say anything about it right now, probably. We'll see what happens, just in case it changes.
Changes. Do you have any tentative studio that you're going to use, or producer?
I thought I heard you. Ass.
I have. We're going to rehearse probably in America somewhere, but we'll be recording outside the country and outside of England too. So there's ideas about going to Montserrat, which is in the Caribbean, and possibly doing it there. Or there's a lot of studios that are outside the tax areas that we're talking about,
Yeah.
And they make us do that nowadays. So, we don't know right now.
Montserrat wouldn't be too bad, though.
Not too bad. We record at night and lie in the sun during the day.
What about a possible producer?
Well, there's a few people being mentioned. Nothing concrete right now. We're just kind of working on who we really want to do it, and we'll see when it comes around. who's going to be right for the job.
Now, in the previous Yes, John penned like most of the lyrics and the idea. Do you think John will have a lot more input on the next record?
Yeah, I think so, because he'd be obviously more involved from the beginning. But at the same time, you know, we're going to be left a lot of freedom musically too. So, you know, John will have his input, but I think it'll be equal all around. This time, everybody's got a lot of ideas about what they want to do.
Could you please do a Christmas ID to your fans? A Christmas
Sure.
card? Could you say, hi, this is Alan White of Yes.
Yeah.
Listen to Run with the Fox.
Listen to Run with the Fox. They might re-release it this year, actually. So I was told. Anyhow, we'll see.
Yeah, they should re-release that. I told Chris they should re-release a solo record too.
Yeah. Hi, this is Alan White of Yes. He's wishing you all a very happy Christmas and festive season, and we're dying to get back at you next year, and we'll be back real strong.
All right, great. Currently?
Yeah, I play Simmons on stage, but I'm working on a new project that probably would get rid of that and replace that and many other things with one of the guys that works for us. He's developing an interface system for. So she'll see what happens for next year.
Yeah, because I knew about, what was it, Hale's Relayer type period.
Yeah.
You were one of the forerunners in electronic percussion.
Yeah, I mean, I've always tried to keep ahead of the game as far as that goes, but at the moment just using Simmons, which a lot of people are. But I use the Simmons as part of the kit. I don't use it as a kit. I just use it to add dynamics to my drum kit as it is. It's the most important thing, is to stick to real acoustic drums and get a good sound on them, I think, basically.
Okay, so you're using a Ludwig kit?
Yeah. I play Ludwig with Zildjian cymbals.
Any other percussion?
Not really. I use Krotols in the set, which is a tuned keyboard of bells. But that's all I'm needing for this tour. Who knows, next tour I might need lots of other stuff. But nowadays you can usually program it all into digital machines and stuff like that, and not carry them around on the road, like those big gongs everybody has. It's just for kind of a spectacular kind of part of the show, and it's very visual. Well, you really don't need them. You can put it all on digital stuff and just hit a button, it'll do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So I just work on that, making it easier that way.
Yeah, I'll never forget on the Relayer tour the drum solo you did in Ritual.
Yeah.
With John.
Oh yeah. Well, the whole band used to play drums at that section. In that
whole
section.
band did?
The whole band played drums, yeah, in the end of Ritual. We used to play a tune on the drums. And it just used to build up to the whole end of the set.
Yeah, I'm really glad you put that on the Yes shows out.
Yeah.
I like that one.
It needed to get on there.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Anything else coming up in the future?
No, just basically holiday time at the moment. Well, we'll see.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay.
Fast.
History of the drumming?
Of your drumming. At what age did you start playing?
Oh, I started playing at the age of, I got my first kit for my 12th Christmas.
Was that a whole kit or just a snare drum?
It was a kit of Ludwig. Then I only played for about 3 months. I was playing on stage. I've been playing piano from the age of 6, and I played till I was 15 the piano. But when I was 13, I took over on the drums because my uncle was a drummer, and they said I played the piano so percussively they tried me on the drums. I was playing on stage in 3 months and basically never stopped since then. I just played all the time.
3 months after that, you
Yeah.
were playing on stage?
Yeah.
The local band?
A local band, yeah.
Did you ever take lessons then from your uncle or anything like that?
I had a couple. He died soon after that, which gave me more of a. He got killed in the train crash, which just gave me more incentive to kind of work harder at being a drummer. Now I went to college and stuff like that, but eventually we won so many competitions. The local band that I was in won so many competitions and stuff like that, and we went professional at a real early age. We were playing 7 nights a week.
And this is at the age of 13?
Yeah, I was like 14. They made me cool it while I did my exams and stuff like that. But after that, I just took off. I went to Germany and grew up very quickly in 3 months.